play a game that otherwise they would have had to spend hundreds of dollars on to actually play. Although, I mean, it's Ghost and Goblins, so you can play it on other systems. But, for those other 6 games, it might be worthwhile. I think there was a version of Strider that was supposed to be arcade perfect that never came out for the Super Graphics.
Whoa.
And, if Capcom really wanted to be awesome, they could release that, because apparently it was finished or close to finished and just never was published. Probably because the system was an abomination that just died horribly. So anyway, that's kind of cool. And
so it's interesting that it's emulated, but it was like the least interesting choice they could have made.
Although probably the one most likely for people to buy, because the other games that were released on Super Graphics were like, I can't even remember what they were. They were like games that no one's ever heard of. Fairly obscure stuff. And finally, a brand new game is coming to Sega Genesis. And this is not the sports games that are being released by Tectoy in Brazil, but actually a brand new Sega Genesis game. And actually, I don't know if it's brand new. This is coming from Super Fighter Team, the company that released the brand new Genesis game Beggar Prince a couple of years ago, which was actually a Taiwanese RPG from about 1997 that they localized into English. This one's called Legend of Wukong, so I'm guessing that there could be a chance that it's from Taiwan also.
Right.
But
I want to know how you get into this business to begin with. How do you decide that you're going to localize
Taiwan
games that are 15 years old?
I really don't know, for a system that no one owns anymore.
Right.
I think you just accept the fact that you're going to make a very, very modest living for the rest of your life. And, move to some place like, the middle of West Texas where living expenses are super cheap and scrape by. But, those people who still play their Genesises and want a new RPG...
They do localization in between, like, subsistence farming?
I guess, probably. Or they wait for their government subsidies to come in. Oh, we're not going to grow soybeans this year.
Oh, thank God, we got another crate of government cheese.
Why not make it like an iPhone game? I downloaded that terrible Vi. Yeah, and just for my iPhone, because it was the only RPG that I could find for the iPhone. So why not just do that, guys? This is my message to them. This is how to get them out of their modest living.
That would I don't know that Vi actually sold enough copies to get anyone out of their modest living. And also, the iPhone port of Vi was terrible. But the thing is, I'm assuming if this is a port of a Taiwanese game, then it already exists. They don't have to reprogram it, aside from just adding the localization into it. So, there is that whole thing about most of the work already being done. I mean, people have gone in and done ROM hacks of all kinds of unreleased NES, Super NES games, and there's